Hi, in this video we are going to practice paraphrasing a text. And the objective that we have for this lesson is to paraphrase a text maintaining its original message. I am going to show you how we can do that. Alright? And for that I am going to give you a set of steps that you need to take, probably not necessarily strictly in the same order in which I am going to show them to you, but they all need to take place in order to have a very good paraphrasing of a text. Paraphrasing means expressing the same ideas in an original text using different words. Usually they say, use your own words to express this. So let me show you how we can do that. The first thing that we need to do is to understand the text very well. If we don't have a clear idea of what we need to rewrite, we may end up writing something that is different from the original idea of the text that we are using as a basis for our exercise. So the first thing is understanding the text, making sure that you understand the message, the vocabulary, the purpose of the text. All right? That seems obvious, but I need to make sure that you understand that first. All right? The next thing that we need to do is to extract key concepts. For example, if I am trying to paraphrase a text that says, Peter ate 2 apples, we need to make sure that the message is about Peter and that we're talking about apples. And how many apples? 2. The rest, and that it's an action of eating, of course. So if we want to paraphrase that, we need to make sure that we talk about those items. All right? So after we extract the key items the key concepts of the message, we need to write our first draft in our own words. How do we write our first draft? If we're talking about a first draft, that means that we may need to write a final draft at the end, but let me show you how we write a first draft, what we need to take into account to do that. Without looking at the original, all this happens without looking at the original text. That means that we have understood already what the main message and the purpose of the original text is. We have extracted our key concepts. Now, with those concepts and our understanding of the text, we are going to write our first draft without looking at the text. So, how do we do that? Something that I love to use is that I always like to start my sentences at a different point. For example, a different point means that the sentence starts with a component of the message, and I use a different one to start with. Let me give you an example. If we're saying, my class chose to go to the museum for our field trip, the first element in the message, in the original message, is my class chose to go to the museum for our field trip. So I start my new phrase at a different point. I'll say, for example, I'll start with a place. The museum was the place that my class chose for our field trip. So I started with a museum. I'm not changing much in this exercise. In this example, I'm just saying that I started the sentence not with my class chose to go to the museum. I say the museum is the place that my class selected for this outing that we have in my school. You see? So I start with at a different point, and that makes a complete different paraphrasing of the original message. All right? I love that, and I think that will guide you in using a different set of words, etc., that will make your paraphrasing completely different from the original one. All right? Let me give you another pointer. Replace non-technical words with synonyms. So what is non-technical words? The words that are not specific, especially proper nouns. For example, if I say, Peter went to the museum, I cannot change Peter. Unless I can add something else, like if it is something completely obvious to the person who's reading this second version, I could say my brother if he's my brother. But non-technical terms are the ones that we can replace. For example, if I'm saying field trip, we chose this place for the field trip, I can just say for the outing, or for the trip, just the word trip, it is enough. But the others, we maintain them. All right. I'm going to give you one more example in a moment, but that is the idea, that you understand that we can replace words that are not essential in the message. The next one, use a different sentence structure. For example, if the sentence is written in the active voice, for example, I ate the apple, I can replace that with a different structure. For example, the passive voice. The apple, I started with from a different point there. The apple was eaten by me, or is eaten by me. So in that case, we are using a different sentence structure. All right. So all this helps you just be able to write the same message in a different, with a different style. Next. Separate long sentences. It means that you can break the information into smaller, separate sentences. For example, if we have a long sentence that has if it is a long sentence, it will have some conjunctions. For example, we went to the trip and stayed there for 2 hours. So we could say, we went to the trip, period. Or we can, I'm just exemplifying the resource. I went to, and then we say period. We include a period that we separate. We went to the trip this afternoon, period. After 2 hours, we were still there. It means that I broke the sentence into 2 ideas. All right. Now, when we finish writing the first draft and using the pointers that I'm giving you, we can then compare, that's the next tip, compare your text with the original passage and edit it. And that's how you write your final draft. You edit it. That means that you see if there are some phrases that remain too similar, for example, or if there are some terms that you are still using and that they are not essential, that they're not technical terms, you can replace those. All right? And if it is necessary, if it is a formal writing that you are making, you can use some sources, and you have to cite them if that is necessary. All right. If we're just doing some simple activity in the classroom with some information that we are using, not referencing, not getting it from somewhere else, so we don't need to reference it. But if it is necessary, you have to cite it. You can say, according to this author, and then you say that. You can use that. Actually, that is a very good practice. Instead of saying, if you're quoting what your mom said, you say, according to my mom, I have to be home at 7 p.m., for example. So you can always cite the source, and that will give you another element of variation in your paraphrasing of a text. All right? I have an example here for you. The original phrase is this: we all like the activities that our teacher prepares for us, but sometimes we think that we don't have enough time to rest between one activity and the next one. Okay, that is a long sentence. You already have the idea there. We can break it, yes? And this is a paraphrase. Look at it. Our teacher plans things that the entire class enjoys, period. We paused there. We used, in the original, we say we all like. And here we says the entire class enjoys. We all, everybody. So we replace we all like with the entire class enjoys. And it says we, but we use the word our teacher. So that our teacher, that is already including the we. It is we who like that. Our teacher plans things. So activities, prepares is replaced with things that are planned things, all right? And then we break the idea because it is a long one. However, comma, but the word but was changed with however, and we start a new sentence. However, there is too little time to move from one activity to the next. So it says time to rest between one activity and the other. We say there is little time to move from one activity to the next, period. That's just our opinion. Where do we get that? Because in the original it says we think. So we think means that is our opinion. You see how much variation we can give to an original sentence or an original idea? That is what paraphrasing is about, right? So for that, I have 2 activities for you, and they involve paraphrasing. But since I cannot ask you to do that on your own for now, I'm going to ask you to first complete the sentences. I mean, these sentences, I'm going to give you 2, but one at a time. The sentences to make sure that they are an adequate paraphrase of the preceding one. So I'm going to give you this sentence. It is complete first. If you want to use an exercise bike, you have to choose the right one. The right one depending on the goal and intensity of your exercise needs. All right? And here I have a paraphrase of that, but it is incomplete. For example, it says the objective and blank. The objective because we have goals. The exercise, the goal. That's as much as I'm going to give you. So I have already a paraphrase started. So read it, read the original, and see how you can complete with information from the original, how you can complete this paraphrase, okay? Pause my video, complete the activity, and I'll show you the answer in a moment. Go ahead, pause the video. All right, thank you. I hope that you have the answer to this. Just 3 words that you need there. And the answer is this: the objective and intensity. Yes, because the original said goal and intensity. All right, of your exercise needs determine the type of exercise, what? Exercise bike or bicycle that you have to select for that. All right, so that is the answer. If it's still a little confusing, read it again and see how this paraphrase is an adequate paraphrase of the original idea. All right, let me give you another practice sentence. Here's the sentence. I'm going to read it for you so that when you practice, you can use my pronunciation of the sentence as a reference in your mind, because I don't want you to practice or think about terms using an inaccurate pronunciation. All right, it says, my brother has a stamp collection and he never touches stamps with his hands. When he wants to see his stamps, he uses some tongs, some special instruments that replace our fingers, some special tongs to move them from one envelope to a clean piece of paper on a table. All right, to bring them from the envelope to the table. All right, and here is a paraphrase of that sentence. Read it, examine it, and see how you can complete those 5 blanks that you have there. All right, pause my video, complete the activity, and I will show you some sample answer in a moment. Go ahead. All right, I hope that you have your answer, and here is the correct answer. So I'm going to read it for you, but I want you to still think about how that is an adequate paraphrase. It says, the stamp collection that my brother has is never touched. So you probably needed to think about that. Yes, never touched by his hands. To take the stamps out of their envelope, yes, and see them on a piece of paper, on a table, some tongs are necessary. So as you can see, we use some passive voice here, but it is an adequate rephrasing or paraphrasing of the original idea. All right? I hope that with these thinking exercise, you are ready to do something on your own. I'm going to give you a complete text for that. All right, the activity is this. Rewrite the following text using paraphrasing. Again, I'm going to read it with you just to give you an idea about the pronunciation and to make sure that there is something that needs to be clarified, but you are going to paraphrase this. Let me help you with the understanding of the text. It says, my family and I usually, go to visit my grandparents in July. In the summer, yes. We have a big family reunion with all my aunts and uncles and cousins. Yes, with all those relatives. All right. We play games and eat the family traditional dishes, food, especially grandma's apple pie. Pie is a type of dessert, yes, that you make in the oven and usually contains some other ingredients more than just a cake. The flour and sugar and butter in a cake. Everybody loves it. Everybody in the family. See? The little kids enjoy the swimming pool while the older kids play soccer. Two different activities. Everyone finds something fun to do or simply enjoys the company of other members of the family. All right? It is a wonderful time in which we create beautiful memories. To paraphrase this, I would recommend that you go phrase by phrase or sentence by sentence and see, don't start from the end of the text. No, start in order, paraphrase it in the order that they are presented, but the elements within the sentences can be presented in a different way. All right? So I'm going to give you some time. Please pause my video, complete the activity, and then I'll show you some sample answer. Go ahead. All right, I hope that you did complete the activity. And here is a paraphrase that a girl wrote for us. And here it is. It says, in the summer, as the hint that I gave you, in the summer, my parents take my sister and me to see my grandparents. All right? The whole family gets together, so a family reunion changed to gets together there. My aunts, uncles, and their children, so their children are my cousins. We eat everyone's specialty and grandma's apple pie in particular. Right? We could have expressed that we all love that, but we enjoy all that anyway. The kids enjoy playing soccer or swimming in the pool. So we put together the smaller ones and the big ones as what things that they do, because that is not so particular. It has to be the small kids, unless we want to emphasize that the small kids swim, the other ones play soccer. No, that is enough. Doing something fun or just having a nice conversation with a relative, part of the family, everybody has a great time. This is the time when we create the best memories. So beautiful memories replaced with best memories. This is just one simple paraphrase or one sample paraphrase, but you can always change it even more. Even now that I see what this girl has done, I see that there could be some things that could have been changed, but this is just an example. All right? I hope that you have enjoyed practicing paraphrasing this, but for now I am going to ask you to listen to the pronunciation and practice with the native speaker. I'm pausing my video for that. Go ahead, listen and practice, please.
In the summer, my parents take my sister and me to see my grandparents. The whole family gets together there. My aunts, uncles, and their children. We eat everyone's specialty and grandma's apple pie, in particular. The kids enjoy playing soccer or swimming in the pool, doing something fun, or just having a nice conversation with a relative. Everybody has a great time. This is the time when we create the best memories.
All right, excellent. Thank you for having practiced that. And remember that these tips and this example that you have seen in this in this video have helped you know how to paraphrase texts, maintaining the original message of the text that we're using as a reference. Thank you very much for having completed the activity and for having studied that with me, and I'll see you in the next video.